Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Journey to Purpose. With me this week I have the wonderful Tania Ho. She serves as an intuitive soul guide, helping sensitive souls awaken their true power. Through intuitive guidance and energy tools, Tania helps you find clarity and confidence to live in alignment with your soul purpose and bring your heart, mind and soul back to harmony. Originally from Hong Kong, Tania now lives in Chiang Rai, in Thailand with her family, and she is the founder and owner of Museflower Retreat and Spa, an all-inclusive vegetarian wellness retreat center spa offering yoga, meditation, spa, and soulful retreats. She's also the host of Embrace Your Sacred Nature, a soulful, bite-sized podcast sharing nourishing wellness practices, energy tools, and heartfelt real-life stories to help you embrace your unique, magical nature. Tania, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Now, normally I ask people where in the world they are, but obviously we've already said that you're in Thailand. But can we start with what brought you to Thailand? Why did you sort of leave Hong Kong?
Yeah. So thank you for that question. So I studied university in the States, and then my degree was to focus on spa management. So I had a few different job offers, not in Hong Kong, but like in the States or in there was one in Thailand. I thought Thailand was closer to Hong Kong, but also it was just like this intuition, like this gut feeling also to like that I want to choose this job in Thailand over the ones that in the States. So that's what brought me to Thailand, was actually working for this chain that I wanted to work for as their spa management trainee, and then later working as a spa manager. And that started my journey here in Thailand.
Wonderful. And we were discussing before we started this call that I've also been to Thailand quite a few times, and it is a wonderful part of the world. So I don't blame you for choosing it at all. I think I would have done the same thing.
Thank you.
So let's talk about sort of what you do, because what is an intuitive soul guide and how did you discover that's what you wanted to do?
Thank you. So Intuitive Soul Guide for me is helping people to connect back to their soul and to their heart. And to me, it's through really trusting your intuition. And how did it come about? So it's really looking back in my own journey, and everything that I love to share with other people is actually things that have helped me in the past and helped healed me, shaped me, formed me in some way. And I feel like the common thread with all the things that I love doing and sharing with each other is really about coming back to the heart space. And when I say the heart space, is to me, I believe that's where our soul resides. So really coming to the heart, coming to the soul, coming back to, our intuition, because I also believe that intuition is how our soul communicates with us. So there's like this common thread with everything that I've experienced for myself and my own healing, and also, for just what I really enjoy like talking about.
What brought you to that? Because I mean, like spa management is one thing, but sort of intuitive soul healing is not your conventional spa approach, I guess. Was there a specific
Yeah.
moment where you like realized this wasn't, you're going to do something different, or was it, as I said, part of your own healing process that brought you to it?
So yes. So actually, when I was working as spa manager, and I think the interest for me at that time was like, I was interested in natural health, and I was combining to like hospitality business together. And so, the spa was, naturally really fit me. And then when I was working in Thailand, that's where I learned, I got to meet different practitioners, and I learned about what Reiki was. And I was very curious. So that was really my changing point, I think, like what about energy and how actually the world is made of energy and frequency. And that kind of like started, my journey as being into soul guide as well. But it really started with like learning Reiki, because I was like curious, what is this? Is this real? And I'm someone who need to like test it out, see if it's real. So Reiki is an energy healing modality. And for me, I was really going into like just curious, like to feel, is this a real thing? And of course, in my experience, like it was real. I could feel energy, and I got really excited. And that just really changed, like how I view the world. But I didn't really think about like being someone to help people in that way. I was just still very much comfortable in like just doing operations. And so fast forward to like having, the chance to open this retreat center like a few years down later. And I was still very much just involved in doing the operation. But there came a moment, I think after 2 years, when we opened, for me to really think about, well, just really have this calling, like I need to step out of my comfort zone now and to share these practices that I have to have helped me, that I feel that they can help other people as well. So I also met, another energy healing teacher at that time. And she was teaching magnified healing. So it's another energy healing modality that I learned. And she told me that we're never going to be perfect. Like we don't need to be perfect in the way that you have to be perfect to help other people. That's what she
Hmm.
meant. That's what I'm trying to say. So, wherever you are, you can always help people who are maybe just a few steps behind, on the similar journey that you are on. And that really encouraged me to start offering, something here in Museflower to help our guests coming here.
I love that. And I think that's a really important and lesson about not being perfect, because I think we all do that we look at someone who's like 10 paces ahead of us and go, I'm not them, so therefore what can I do? But as you said, there's always something you can do with where you are and where you're starting from.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So what led you to, I mean, obviously the opening the spa wasn't the driver for the soul intuitive work. It kind of came first. So had you always wanted to open your own spa, and what was that process looking like? Especially as you're not from Thailand, like navigating Thai rules and regulations.
Yeah, it's really funny because I did like have a dream, I guess, like to open my own spa when I was working in a spa, but it was like I thought it was going to be in Hong Kong. I thought it was going to be like so many years later. I didn't know how that was going to happen as well. And just the way how, kind of life turned out. So basically, I was working as a spa manager in Thailand, and I was always thinking I would go back to Hong Kong anyway. And then my dad passed away. So that was kind of like another key turning point in my life. So my dad passed away when I was 25. And I felt that, okay, life is too short to do things that I didn't want to do. But I also didn't know what I wanted to do. So I quit my job. And I think a lot of people have experienced that. I quit my job and I went traveling a bit, not too much, but I did go back to Hong Kong then. And I went traveling with my friends, with my mom. And I also attended retreat by myself. So that was like the beginning of myself just attending retreat,
Hmm.
understanding what retreat is, and just to experience healing from a retreat. And to me, I felt, wow, like it is even more powerful than just, going for a spa treatment. Like a spa treatment is great. It's very relaxing and people come out, from a spa treatment, they feel more relaxed, they feel transformed physically. But for me in a retreat, when especially when you go for like a week retreat, is really a much deeper transformation, a much deeper healing experience that you're going to come out from the retreat. And so that was really what intrigued me with like, oh, like retreat is actually very powerful. And so that's how, and then when I came back to Thailand for a retreat, and I was following a teacher at that time here in Chiang Rai, Thailand, and she wanted to open like a different place, the same city. And at that time, I was thinking, okay, I really want to support her. I want to support this project. And that's how I got involved in this project. And then we started this whole thing together, and we found the land. We built a company. We built the whole place from scratch, really. I knew nothing about construction at all because my background was in operations. So I was a very steep learning curve for me. Also speaking the language here that I knew a little, but I was not so good. And I think just after that here, like my Thai just really improved a lot. And so, of course, I always tell people also, yes, even though I, did create this place, but it's not just me. I feel like I've had so much help in doing that. I'm just a small part in it, really. And then after we opened the place, actually, it was opened in 2013. It was under a different brand name. And then half a year later, our partnership broke down with my ex-business partner, my ex-teacher. And so luckily at that time, I met my husband. At that time, my then boyfriend, who was supporting me a lot. And my husband is Thai. And just for myself, also think like, okay, why did I want to open a retreat center in the first place? Because I thought I just wanted a spa, but a retreat center is like much bigger than a spa. Spa is just a part of the retreat center. So that was a really big challenge, or you can say transition in my life as well at that time, but to really deeply reflect on why did I want to open a retreat center. And to me, the answer came was also relating to, my dad's passing. I really wanted to have a place for city people, like me who grew up in Hong Kong to be able to, of course, relax and recharge, but also to reconnect with nature because we are in the countryside. And through this, to be able to reconnect with ourselves, and not just only on a physical level, but on the emotional and the mental level, and also on the energetic level as well. So that was my very long story, short version, try to be short version of like how this like all came to be from a spa to like a retreat center.
No, I love that. And I mean, I love Hong Kong. It's a crazy place though. It's so intense. So I can totally see like the juxtaposition between that city life, that country life. And when people come to you, particularly if they're coming from crazy places like Hong Kong. Crazy in a good way, obviously. What are common things that you see? Is there common themes that you see with the people who come in terms of what they need or what they're looking for?
Yeah, there is some type of common theme. And of course, there are also a wide variety of people coming here because we have a yoga retreat package you can do. They have a spa getaway package they can do. So people can come just to relax and recharge. And I feel like some people from the city, we get a lot of guests from Singapore, for example, also. They just want to have okay, let's just take a pause and recharge because they're working so hard. And then there are, of course, people who are more coming here because they feel some kind of burnout. And they're in that point in their life that experiences burnout, this exhaustion, and they just really need to take a break from everything they're doing and just to reevaluate where they are. And we also have people going through transitions, like changes in their life in different phases, starting from, people graduating from university and just not sure which way to go, to people, retiring and then starting this new chapter in their life. And also like they're like in this transition time, like, okay, what should I do when I retire? And people who are also grieving in different stages of their life, they also sometimes they come here as well just to process the grief, but also again, it's kind of like having this wanting to find more clarity on their next step. So
Mm.
I would say the common theme, like the common thread, is really people are going through changes and transition. They will come to, our retreat here, and also just people who are feeling really tired. They just want to relax, just have, even if it's a few days or a week, just to have this place to like, just feel really to come back to the center, like we said, right? And there's so many, like cities are great, but there's just a lot of noises sometimes, and then just being in nature, just being that quiet, sometimes just help to filter out those outer noises and be able to come back to ourselves again.
Definitely. What was the biggest lesson that you learnt in the process of opening up your spa the first time around?
The biggest lesson. There's so many, but I would say to me is really trusting my intuition. And I say that not like lightly because when I first started the project, like I said, I was with a business partner who was also my teacher at that time. And, I would follow her and, other people who are older than me that I think, they know more than me because they have more life experiences. And I would not trust myself and I would just like really go with what other people are telling me to do. And that came with a big cost, like really giving back to myself. And like when they tell something that I felt like I was not right, either I follow that or like, and the broke down the partnership was really that like, no, I'm going to trust myself and not follow what you said. And that was like, the beginning of that breakdown. And then there were so many other moments too, for example, like that's what the industry is doing. That's what the trends are. Like that's what other people are doing. But then it's so important always to come back to myself. It's like, okay, is this really the right? Like, does it feel right for me to do this? It's also a little bit like against of what I've learned, in hotel school, all the management, the concepts and the strategies. Sometimes, my instructions like, it's not really the right thing. And so, or some things like, oh, to do this, but that is not really by the books kind of thing. And so that was also, I think, the biggest lesson I've learned, to trust myself deeper and deeper.
I think it's great that you've learned that now, because I think we often lose the ability to listen to our own gut, don't we? That intuition, as you call it. There's a number of times in my life where I've done something that deep down I kind of felt it wasn't aligned with who I was, but because of someone else's experience or what society says, or someone says this it's looking good on your CV type thing, and in those situations, I've ended up, leaving a job after 6 months because it just wasn't right for me. But I didn't listen to myself from the word go. So I think we can't underestimate listening to our gut. And I think to your point, it's not about rejecting the knowledge of those who are more experienced or come before us, but it's just understanding that sometimes there are things you need to do for you that aren't aligned with other people. And if you just go down that path, you will lose a bit of yourself in the process, and like partnerships will break down or you'll be unhappy in those kind of situations.
Yes. Yes. And also, there was a point in my, when that happened, when the partnership broke down, I was like, I was really doubting myself. Like, can I really trust myself? Like, it was that point, like, I don't know if I could trust myself or not. And it was really luckily I have a few friends like who were supporting me during a time and, just to encourage me. Yeah, you can trust yourself. Because, I was really at the point, like, I don't know anything I do. And they got so confusing. Like, can I really trust myself? I doubt like everything. Like, you're just doubting your whole life. And so I'm so glad, like, when I came out of that, I can really see that like you said, it is so important to, really to follow your intuition because, and sometimes it's doing things that people, don't expect you to. But that's also, I guess, the beauty because there's just so much, there's an infinite possibilities of how things can work out. Like
Yeah,
there's really so many, and it doesn't have to, maybe one way works for, someone else, but maybe it doesn't mean that way has to work for me, for example. And I would
definitely.
forge, like, there's another path that would work for me.
That's really cool. And with your retreat, so it's vegetarian, it's soulful, it's all inclusive. These are quite specific choices. So why did you build Museflower this way? What was your thinking with that kind of setup?
Hmm. So vegetarian, first of all, I have to be a disclaimer and say I am not vegetarian myself, but when I attended the retreats that I talked to you about, to heal my own grief from my dad's passing before, it was a vegetarian retreat and it was such an eye-opening experience for me because I always thought the vegetarian food was boring. It's not going to be yummy. It's going to leave me hungry. And it was so not true. Like it's just kind of break all this like preconceptions that I have about vegetarian food. And so I would love to continue to have this experience for our guests coming here because a lot of guests coming here, they are not vegetarian. And coming to a retreat, part of the point is to bring away that daily life habit
Mm,
and to, to step, to really have new perspectives of things. And so I think when we eat not normally as we normally do, the same as when we travel, when we try to experience, different cuisines, we also don't serve coffee here as well. But, I tell people if you really need, you can bring your own instant coffee, is totally fine. But we don't serve coffee here. So there's little things that we can break out from our normal comfort zone. And when people realize that, oh, I can actually survive without coffee, or I can actually survive without eating meat, it's a really big shift in them because it opens up this new possibilities of, oh, actually, I can do this. I thought I cannot, but I
mm,
can. And just like that's just the food part is just an example. And I think soulful for us, to what I'm, for me, it does mean holistic in terms of, we look after not just on the physical level, but the emotional, mental level. And there are so many different retreat centers in Thailand also. And we do, of course, have like the physical part, which is the yoga. I think our approach is a little bit more gentle. So our offerings are more focused on really nourishing the body. So we're not like those fitness boot camps. We don't have like that really strong fitness component. There's everything more in a balanced way to focus on nourishing you from within. So we have like a spa. Of course, we would have the spa here, that you can relax with massages. We have workshops here that talk about like energies. We talk about, like, of course, the different meditation styles that you can try. And, we do some emotional healing work as well we do fire release ceremony. We do like cacao medicine. So it's really, and, coming back to like talking in the beginning about connecting to your soul, like all these are invitations. Of course, on the physical level as well, it is an invitation that you can connect with your soul through a beautiful massage as well. And so like we have like, I feel like for me, it's all, it even just coming in nature, if you don't want to do anything, you just want to sit in nature, that is also, a very healing by itself. And so just having all these things to, yeah, coming right to nourishing yourself from within.
I love that. And focusing on the actual work then. So you talk about helping sensitive souls find their power. What do you think people who are sort of sensitive tend to get wrong about themselves before they come to you?
So thank you for this question because usually there's like two different types in terms of one type of people who are sensitive but they don't know they're sensitive, like they don't know that they're sensitive. And so when I ask them some questions and I explain to them, oh, actually, everybody, of course everybody is sensitive, but there are, some people are just, it's like a spectrum. Some people are just like more sensitive than other people, so they can feel more. And then when I explain that to them, this is just how you're built. Just like this is your hair color. This is your bone structure. This is how you're built. There is nothing wrong with you. And I think that just gives them a relief because there's, for me also, because that was my journey too before, it's like, I thought something's wrong with me. Like, how can like, for some people, they can take criticism so well and like I cannot, like work just like hurt me. I'm so scared of like, negative comments, for example, or just I feel this immense pressure that I need to make people happy. And then I realized, oh, it's because I can feel a lot. And then I realized then, oh, it's not something wrong with me. It's just something that I need to learn to work with because it's just how I'm built. And so I think that takes the pressure off like there's something wrong with me rather than say, yeah, I can see that now. That is actually just how I am, just to accept that. And then next step, like the different, another group of people actually, they know they're sensitive already. And so then it's the next step of learning different tools and practices to help them to master their sensitivities. Because I always say that sensitivities is like a double-edged sword. So if you know that you're sensitive and you have tools to help you to master it, they are actually absolutely your gifts and your superpower. And they're here to help you to carry out your soul purpose or your mission. But sometimes if we don't know, that, any tools to help to manage, for example, how to protect our energy or how to set like a, really good firm boundary to protect our own energy, then we would feel very drained and depleted and really tired after whatever that we're doing.
I love that. And so some of these, so energy tools, can sound a bit sort of, what's the word, abstract to those who haven't done this before. So what might that process look like for somebody coming to you? How does it manifest itself?
Yeah. Well, thank you. So I think when I talk about energy tools or practices, so with people who are sensitive, especially, I always tell them, just remember how to ground your energy, how to clear energy, and how to protect your energy. And so grounding is really coming back to when we talk about regulating your nervous system. And to me, that's just coming back to your center. And, of course, a lot of these practices they come and do, like meditation, for example, the yoga, the stretching, just like, learning how to breathe deeply again, not learning, but reminding themselves to breathe deeply, coming for a massage, and just spending time in nature, like we talked about before. These are all things that are going to help them to regulate their nervous system, to be more grounded again. And then, there's one part where we talk about how to protect your energy, how to, clear energy also, so you're not carrying, energy from other people. So these are more, I usually guide people more like on a visualization type of exercises, kind of like a guided meditation to do that. I talked about doing a fire release ceremony as well. So what we do is like we write down the things or the beliefs, the old stories, emotions that are, kind of weighing us down. I'm going to write it all on paper. And even like people who don't think they're sensitive, it's a great exercise to do. And, after that, we write them down and then we're going to burn them, release them to the fire. And so it's really a symbolic act to say, I'm ready to release, I no longer carry these that no longer serve me. So it's like a symbolic act of doing that. And I also do oracle card readings myself. And so when people need more clarity on, their next step, where they're going, I would help them with the card reading, not just by me telling them what I see in the card. I will actually ask them what they see in the card as well. So for them to tap into their intuition, and it then becomes a two-way conversation. So I'm asking questions for them to really reflect for themselves, what is their intention in their life? What is it they want to create in life? And you can say that is also coming not just on the emotion, but on the mental side as well. Because a lot of times we tend to focus on what we don't want. I don't want the stress. I don't want to get sick. And then when I ask people, what is it that you want? That's where people will really kind of have a blank moment sometimes, like, oh, ow, I don't know what I want. And they try to want to, because it's also because they want to get this perfect answer. I'm like, it's fine. Like, just focus on today. What is it that you want just for today? And we start from there.
It's very interesting you say what people don't want. I often find it easier to start with what I don't want than what I do want. But so do you ever do that kind of process where you sort of almost by a process of elimination, you figure out what you want, or at least what you want in that process? Is that effective, do you think, or do you think actually we need to have the time to sit with ourselves and actually really figure out what we want?
No, that is a very helpful process, what you said. So if we don't know what we want, but we know what we don't want, we start with there. And it's almost just like you just have to think an opposite. So if I don't want stress, then you can say, well, what's another word? If you say you want, what would that replace the word stress to something else? And I think definitely what we don't want is they become really good indicators. It's just like helping to point to like, okay, what is it that I want? And I usually, invite people to focus on the feeling. So it's not so much what I want to do in my life or what I want to manifest in my life, but just focus on how is it that you want to feel? And imagine you waking up. What is it that you want to feel when you wake up? So like start from there. Start with the feeling first and focus on the feeling.
And how do you distinguish between someone who comes to you who really just does need a break and a bit of a timeout versus someone who needs that deep soul work? Is that something that you can see automatically? Is that part of a process you have to go through?
Oh, so actually they're the one who decide how much they want to do. And we always send a questionnaire to our guests before they arrive. It's like a pre-on check-in, and we always ask them what is their intention for coming to the retreat. And so it's kind of like that. See, the questions already planned in their head. Also, what is the intention? They want for the retreat, and they would share that. And then when they come here, it's just really up to them how much they want to do or how little they want to do. And we have all these different kind of offerings, and so they can choose, like if they really just want a spa, if they just want like focus on spa wellness, that's great. And then if they want to have a deeper healing, then they would actually book for the holistic therapies. So it's really depends on the person. Yeah,
Makes
their
sense.
choice.
And what if someone has never been on a retreat before, has heard about them, and kind of doesn't know where to start? What would be your recommendation for how do you decide where to go, what retreat, what you need if you're not sure?
So I think for me, I'm just thinking like how I would go, like how I would decide when I go for retreats. To me, it's not, there is concern or maybe like the area, like so geographically, where they want to go. I always think that's word of mouth. So it's really good to ask people around you for referrals. Have they been to any of these retreats? And if there's something exciting from the retreat program for you. So there could be, because there, besides, yoga or spa, we also, like, for example, here in Museflower, we also have like theme retreats. And I know, in the world, there's also many, many theme retreats, or sometimes because we go to the retreat because of the teacher, like we follow that teacher. We really love what they share, what they teach. So it's really finding something in the program that excites you. And then it will have to fit, of course, like, does the time fit? Does the budget fit? Like, does the, location wise, does it fit? Will be good. Of course, if it's a center itself, you can always check like, TripAdvisor review. But I have quite a lot of guests coming here because they get like word of mouth. Like, so somebody has been, they talk about Museflower, and then, that's how they know about us. Or they do Google search, AI search, and they just love to see like the reviews that we have. And so they feel like they want to come to here. And a lot of times people come here, they tell me it's just also their intuition, right? They look at the website, they feel good, they feel drawn to, okay. So, and then they start, the inquiry process. So I guess it's back to like that basic, again, trusting your intuition, trusting your feeling on it.
So Museflower's been around for quite a few years now. What is your vision for it? Are you growing it? Are you going to keep it the size it is? Where do you see it going?
So at the moment, I'm just seeing it's what it is at the moment, not growing it bigger yet. We have 16 rooms, so we can fit a maximum of 36 people, but some of the rooms are for 3 people. And I really love the size of group. So sometimes we also have like retreat leaders coming to rent our space. And so they'd like, it's like a 10 people, 20 people, maximum maybe like 25 to 28 people group. So I think, with our approach, we really love to have this soulful, nourishing approach. And I love that, this is, I think, a good size to have in the retreat center, like between 30 to 40 people or fewer, like 10 to 20 people. So it is keeping as it is on the physical sense, but we are also doing more online offerings also. So to reach out to people who may not be able to come right here now. And I think, after the pandemic, there's such a boom in like, online courses, online, sessions, and just really having this opportunity to be able to connect with people all around the world, different time zones as well, to, just to learn about how to connect with their intuition, learn about how to do the fire release ceremony, for example, that I mentioned to you. We also had like we have done it online before as well. So just, bringing these offerings also to people who may not be able to come now, or like they plan to come back later, or they can come later again. So expanding more in the online space.
It's interesting because I personally, so the pandemic was the first time I ever got to work from home, and I worked through the pandemic, and I live in a forest. So for me, it was a very positive experience all round. But I have definitely reached a point where I don't like being online anymore. Like, I'm trying to reshift my life so I'm less online. Because I think for me, I went from being in the office, traveling around the country, to, oh, wow, I can be at home. I can cuddle my dog every day. I can do all those things. But I'm getting screen exhaustion. And instead of having a meeting, then walking to another meeting, having a chat in between, I'm meeting. And so
Mm.
I'm definitely making a conscious effort to reduce so I like, I do the podcast recordings are obviously online, but I try to really time block what I do online. But I love sort of the idea that it does open up these opportunities for people to try the things they can't do. And it's interesting to hear that actually you're increasing your footprint where I'm trying to hide, but maybe it's a different purpose, right? It's a different way of being.
Yes. Well, it's also, I thank you for sharing that too. And it is important to have that balance, like you said, like, the online screen time. And, of course, it's great that you have, like, you can go on the countries, like, you live in Flores and you can have that time for yourself and just to really time block. Like I said, it is important for everyone, like for myself as well. And so I think luckily for me, it's not so much like I don't do like online one-on-one sessions, but
Mm,
more like class workshops where there's like more people who can come in together. And so that 1 hour or 2 hour can have more impact than just like one-on-one sessions. But when people come here in person, then that's what I will do in one-on-one sessions because they're already here.
yeah,
And so
makes
of
sense.
course, it'd be great to do the one-on-one session together.
Makes sense. And for you personally, then, what is next in your journey? Because I mean, you've done an awful lot. You've worked through an awful lot as well. Have you got something else you want to learn or something else you want to try for yourself?
Thank you for that question. I just came back from a retreat myself, attending a retreat, which is really good for me. I just started doing that last year in terms of going overseas because I have like kids at home, and so I had like organize everything before I leave. So for me, I'm in the journey now, actually learning more about like the energetics of money, with business, and it's to really expand my own capacity to receive. And it's all linked up together in, of course, all areas of my life. So that's for my own, personal growth. And I always believe that, when, it's just like how I started the journey into Soul Guide, whatever that has worked for me, I love to share that with other
Mm,
people. So I'm also on this healing journey constantly for myself. And now this, big topic for me now is like I said, abundance, like learning how to create more abundance in my life. And so then hopefully, it's still, of course, it's always a work in progress, but what I learned from there, because I'm like a student in like these programs as well, that I can also share these tools to other people to help other people.
that's amazing. I love that. We can all be more abundant as well, right? Just gotta learn it.
Yes.
Tanya, thank you so much. If someone wants to find you, work with you, come on one of your retreats, how can they do that?
Thank you. So we have our website, Museflower's website, which is www.museflowerretreat.com with just one R. Or you can also come to my personal website, which is taniaho.me. And I have my online offerings there on the taniaho.me website. And of course, if you're feeling like to come for a retreat holiday in Thailand, then please come and check out Museflower's website as well.
Perfect. I'll put them all in the show notes as well.
Thank you.
I think anyone who hasn't been to Thailand ought to go to Thailand at least once. So if you're listening to this, go and check out Tanya's retreats and go to Thailand. It's a beautiful country.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time. And yeah, good luck in everything that you do. And I look forward to following you more.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me again.